In the 3rd century BC, the Mediterranean world was dominated by two giants rising from opposite shores. To the west, the city of Carthage, founded by Phoenician traders, had grown into a maritime empire. Its harbors brimmed with silver, its fleets ruled the seas, and its merchants carried goods from Africa to Spain, from Sicily to the edges of the known world. To the north, the Republic of Rome was expanding rapidly. Once a small city-state, Rome's legions had conquered Italy, forging a disciplined war machine fueled by loyalty to the Republic. Rome had no mighty fleet, but it had an iron will. The collision between these two powers was inevitable. Their battleground would be the jewel of the Mediterranean, Sicily. In 264 BC, disputes over Sicilian cities drew Rome and Carthage into conflict. At first, the Romans were at a disadvantage. Carthage's navy dominated the seas, while Rome's strength lay on land. But Rome adapted. Capturing a Carthaginian ship, they built an entire fleet modeled on it. To turn sea battles into land battles, they invented the corvus, a boarding bridge with iron spikes, allowing Roman soldiers to storm enemy decks. With this innovation, Rome stunned Carthage. At the Battle of Mylae, Roman boarding tactics overwhelmed the Carthaginian fleet. For the first time, Rome ruled the waves. The First Punic War raged for over 2 decades. Both sides suffered devastating losses. Carthaginian generals like Hamilcar Barca, father of Hannibal, fought fiercely in Sicily, while Rome poured men and resources into the struggle. In 241 BC, the war reached its climax at the Battle of the Agates Islands. Rome's rebuilt fleet crushed Carthage's ships, cutting off supplies to their armies in Sicily. Defeated, Carthage was forced to surrender. Sicily, its richest colony, to Rome. Though the First Punic War had ended, its shadow lingered. Carthage was humiliated, forced to pay massive reparations, and stripped of territory. Yet, in defeat, it turned its eyes to Spain, building new wealth and raising a new army. At its head was the son of Hamilcar Barca, Hannibal, a child who had sworn before the gods that he would never be a friend to Rome. The stage was set for one of the greatest military confrontations in history. From childhood, Hannibal Barca carried a sacred vow. His father, Hamilcar, had made him swear eternal hatred of Rome. Brilliant, fearless, and relentless, Hannibal grew into one of history's greatest commanders. When Rome threatened Carthage's holdings in Spain, Hannibal struck first. In 218 BC, he besieged Saguntum, a Roman ally. The act ignited the Second Punic War, a conflict that would shake the ancient world. To strike at Rome itself, Hannibal chose an unthinkable path. Instead of sailing across the sea, he led his army, tens of thousands of soldiers, cavalry, and war elephants over the towering Alps. Blizzards, avalanches, and hostile tribes cut his numbers in half, but Hannibal's resolve never wavered. When his army finally descended into Italy, battered but alive, the Romans were stunned. No foreign general had ever invaded their homeland like this. Hannibal wasted no time. At the Battle of Trebia, he lured Roman forces into icy waters and crushed them. At Lake Trasimene, he ambushed an entire Roman army, slaughtering tens of thousands in the fog. But his greatest triumph came in 216 BC at Cannae. Facing a Roman force nearly twice his size, Hannibal used genius tactics. He allowed his center to fall back, while his cavalry encircled the Romans. The result was annihilation. Nearly 50,000 Romans were killed in a single day, one of the bloodiest battles in history. Rome trembled. Yet Rome, unlike any other foe, refused to surrender. Even after disaster upon disaster, the Senate vowed to fight on. Citizens offered their wealth. Slaves were freed to serve as soldiers, and new legions rose from the ashes of defeat. Rome adopted a new strategy: avoid direct battle with Hannibal, bleed him through attrition, and strike Carthage's holdings abroad. Hannibal roamed Italy for years, undefeated in the field but unable to deliver the final blow. After Cannae, many believed Rome was finished. Cities in Italy defected to Hannibal, and allies across the Mediterranean questioned Rome's power. Yet the Republic refused to die. Rome abandoned reckless assaults and turned to a strategy of endurance. Under leaders like Fabius Maximus, nicknamed the Delayer, Roman armies shadowed Hannibal but avoided direct battle. Slowly, they starved his army of supplies and reinforcements. Meanwhile, Rome struck at Carthage's empire abroad. Their fleets regained control of the sea, isolating Hannibal in Italy. From this crucible emerged a young commander destined for greatness, Publius Cornelius Scipio, later called Scipio Africanus. Ambitious and bold, Scipio believed Hannibal could only be defeated by carrying the war to Africa itself. First, he targeted Spain, where Hannibal's brothers commanded Carthaginian forces. Through brilliant campaigns, Scipio captured Carthage's strongholds, cutting off their richest source of silver and manpower. By 206 BC, Spain was Rome's. With Spain secured, Scipio turned to Carthage itself. In 204 BC, he led a Roman army across the sea into North Africa. Carthage, alarmed, recalled Hannibal from Italy. After more than 15 years roaming Rome's homeland, the great general was summoned to defend his own. The two titans of the age were destined to meet face to face. In 202 BC, on the plains of Zama, Rome and Carthage clashed in the decisive battle of the Second Punic War. Hannibal commanded war elephants, seasoned veterans, and the remnants of his once great army. Scipio countered with disciplined legions and superior cavalry. When Hannibal's elephants charged, Roman trumpets blared, and lanes opened in the ranks, letting the beasts pass harmlessly. Then, Roman cavalry, reinforced by Numidian allies, routed Carthage's horsemen and struck from behind. Encircled, Hannibal's army was overwhelmed. For the first time in his life, the great Carthaginian was defeated. Carthage sued for peace. The terms were brutal. They surrendered their fleet, paid massive reparations, and swore never to wage war without Rome's consent. Rome had emerged from the brink of destruction to become master of the Western Mediterranean. The Second Punic War ended with Rome triumphant and Carthage broken. Hannibal, though defeated, lived on, serving as a statesman in his humbled city. But Carthage, even in ruin, remained wealthy from trade. Its markets bustled, its ships still carried goods, and its spirit endured. In Rome, voices rose in warning, none louder than Cato the Elder, who ended every speech in the Senate with the same chilling words: Carthago delenda est. Carthage must be destroyed. In 149 BC, Rome found its pretext. Accusing Carthage of breaking treaty terms, Roman legions once more crossed the sea to Africa. This time, the war would not end with surrender, but with annihilation. Carthage, desperate and cornered, raised an army of citizens. Men, women, and even children labored day and night, forging weapons, building defenses, and preparing for a last stand. The Roman general, Scipio Aemilianus, grandson by adoption of Scipio Africanus, led the assault. For 3 long years, Rome laid siege to the great city. Carthaginians fought with unmatched fury. Street by street, wall by wall, they resisted. Families defended their homes with fire and stone. The city burned, but its people refused to yield. At last, in 146 BC, the Romans broke through. What followed was a slaughter without mercy. Carthage was put to the sword, its survivors sold into slavery. The once mighty city was leveled to the ground. Legend says the Romans sowed the earth with salt, so nothing would grow there again. Whether myth or truth, the message was clear. Carthage would rise no more. The Punic Wars were over. From the first clash in Sicily to the final ashes of Carthage, the struggles spanned more than a century. Rome had faced its greatest rival and emerged supreme. The Mediterranean was now a Roman sea. Mare Nostrum, our sea. The Punic Wars forged Rome into an empire. The resilience that endured Hannibal, the ruthlessness that destroyed Carthage. These qualities propelled Rome towards centuries of dominance. Carthage, though erased, lives on in memory. Its courage, its defiance, and Hannibal's genius stand as eternal reminders that even the mightiest empires are born in struggle.